Between 1950 and 1985, American seniors cooked supper every night using recipes that took under 15 minutes and fed families without wasting time. They competed to make the fastest meals, smartest shortcuts, and the most filling plates using Depression-era techniques and simple pantry ingredients. Canned soup became supper. Leftover rice turned into fried rice, and kielbasa cooked itself in a dry pan. By the 1990s, frozen dinners replaced these practical traditions. These are 30 forgotten 15-minute suppers from the 1950s through 1980s that seniors stopped making, starting with the one that uses only eggs and toast. The easiest hot supper any senior can make takes just 8 minutes and costs 60 cents. You crack 2 eggs into a buttered pan and let them cook until the whites turn solid and the edges get crispy. While the eggs cook, you toast 2 slices of bread and cut them into strips. Then you dip those toast strips into the runny egg yolk and eat them while everything is still hot. This meal has been feeding people in England for over 100 years, but in America, we somehow decided eggs were only for breakfast. A senior living alone does not need fancy recipes or complicated meals. They need something warm and filling that takes less time than driving to a restaurant. The eggs give you protein, the butter adds flavor, and the toast soaks up every bit of that golden yolk. Comment below if you remember eating egg and toast soldiers as a kid, or is this the first time you're hearing about it? Half the most comforting supper for a senior eating alone is a bowl of Campbell's tomato soup with 1/2 of a grilled cheese sandwich on the side. You heat the soup in a small pot and add milk instead of water to make it creamy and rich. While the soup heats, you butter 2 slices of bread. Put a slice of cheese between them and press it in a hot pan until both sides turn golden brown. The cheese needs to melt all the way to the edges, so you keep it on the heat for a full 5 minutes. Then you cut the sandwich in half and save the other half for tomorrow. The whole meal costs under $2 and takes 12 minutes from start to finish. This is the supper that shows up on days when everything feels harder than usual. Tell us, do you make your grilled cheese with butter or mayo on the outside?
Many of you have been asking where to find these recipes. We've gathered hundreds of them from the Depression era through the 1970s in our cookbook, Grandma's Kitchen. Complete instructions, pro tips in 10 chapters. Link is in the description below. Now, let's get back to the video.
Half the world eats rice with a fried egg for supper every single day because it is cheap, filling, and takes only 10 minutes to make. You cook 1 cup of white rice in a pot with water and a pinch of salt for 10 minutes with the lid on. While the rice cooks, you heat a small pan with a little oil and crack 1 egg into it. You fry the egg until the white is fully cooked, but the yolk stays soft and runny in the middle. When the rice is done, you put it in a bowl, slide the fried egg on top, and add soy sauce or hot sauce for flavor. The runny yolk mixes into the rice and makes every bite taste rich and satisfying. 1 cup of rice costs about 15 cents, and 1 egg costs about 20 cents, so your entire supper costs 35 cents. The simplest hot supper a senior can make is a bowl of egg noodles tossed with butter and Parmesan cheese. You boil the noodles in salted water for 8 minutes, drain them, and immediately add a big spoonful of butter while they are still steaming hot. The butter melts into every noodle and coats them completely. Then you shake Parmesan cheese over the top and add salt and pepper. That is the entire recipe. No sauce, no vegetables, no complicated steps. Just noodles, butter, and cheese. A bag of egg noodles costs under $1 and lasts for 4 meals. The Parmesan in your refrigerator door probably costs $2 and will last for months. This meal takes 12 minutes total and uses only 1 pot and 1 bowl. Kids love buttered noodles, and adults who are tired love them just as much. You cannot eat a bowl of warm buttered noodles and feel worse than you did before. The fastest protein-packed supper for a senior takes only 6 minutes and costs under $2. You open a can of tuna, Drain the water and mix it with 1 spoonful of mayonnaise and a few shakes of hot sauce in a small bowl. Then you spread the tuna mixture on crackers and eat them one by one. The hot sauce is what turns this from a snack into a real meal, because it adds flavor and makes everything taste more interesting. A can of tuna costs 89 cents at most grocery stores. The crackers are already in your pantry. The mayonnaise and hot sauce are already in your refrigerator. You can make this entire meal while standing at the kitchen counter, but you should sit down at the table to eat it, because eating while standing makes it feel less important than it actually is. Comment below and tell us, do you eat tuna straight from the can, or do you mix it with mayo first? These first 5 suppers prove that feeding yourself well takes less than 15 minutes and costs under $2. Egg and toast soldiers, tomato soup with grilled cheese, rice with a fried egg, buttered noodles, and tuna on crackers are real meals that respect your time and budget. The most underrated 15-minute supper starts with a can of white beans and ends with a thick slice of toasted bread covered in creamy beans and garlic. You drain the beans and warm them in a small pan with a drizzle of olive oil and 1 clove of garlic that you smash with the side of a spoon. The beans only need 3 minutes to heat through. While they warm, you toast a thick slice of bread until it turns golden and crispy. Then you spoon the warm beans on top of the toast and add salt, pepper, and whatever dried herb you have in your cabinet. Rosemary works best, but parsley or basil work just fine too. A can of white beans costs 69 cents and makes enough for 2 meals. 1 slice of bread from a loaf you already bought costs almost nothing. The whole meal costs under $1 and takes 9 minutes. The smartest supper for a senior uses whatever leftover food is sitting in the refrigerator and turns it into scrambled eggs. You crack 2 eggs into a bowl and beat them with a fork. Then you look in your refrigerator and add whatever you find. Leftover cooked vegetables from 2 nights ago, half an onion that has been sitting on the shelf since Tuesday, a handful of shredded cheese from a bag that is almost empty, a spoonful of salsa from a jar, 1 slice of deli ham torn into small pieces. Everything goes into a buttered pan with the beaten eggs. You stir slowly over medium heat and take the pan off the burner while the eggs are still slightly soft. They finish cooking from the leftover heat in the pan. The whole process takes 9 minutes and costs almost nothing because you are using food you already bought. The easiest Mexican-inspired supper takes 8 minutes and costs under $2. You take 1 flour tortilla and spread canned black beans across half of it. Then you sprinkle shredded cheese over the beans and fold the tortilla in half. You put it in a dry pan over medium heat and press it flat with a spatula. After 2 minutes, you flip it and cook the other side for 2 more minutes until both sides are golden brown and the cheese is completely melted. Then you cut it into triangle wedges and eat it with salsa or sour cream if you have any. A pack of flour tortillas costs about $3 and has 10 tortillas inside. A can of black beans costs 69 cents and makes enough filling for 4 quesadillas. 1 quesadilla is filling enough for a full supper. Tell us below, do you fold your quesadilla in half, or do you make it with 2 full tortillas stacked? The most comforting soup supper takes 12 minutes and tastes like someone spent an hour making it for you. You bring 2 cups of chicken broth to a simmer in a small pot and add a handful of egg noodles. The noodles cook right in the broth for 8 minutes. While the noodles cook, you boil 1 egg in a separate small pot for exactly 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, the egg white is fully cooked and the yolk is still soft and slightly jammy in the center. You peel the egg, cut it in half, and lay both halves in your bowl of noodle soup. When you break the yolk with your spoon, it bleeds gold into the broth and makes everything richer. A carton of chicken broth costs under $2. 1 egg costs under 20 cents. This is the meal that tastes like someone cared enough to make you something warm and real. Do you prefer your egg yolk runny or fully cooked? The simplest Southern-style supper costs under $2 and takes 12 minutes if you use a box of cornbread mix. You open a can of pinto beans and warm half the can in a small pot with a big spoonful of butter and a pinch of salt. While the beans heat, you mix up cornbread batter from a box and pour it into a muffin tin. The cornbread bakes at 400 degrees for 12 minutes while you eat the beans straight from the pot with a spoon. The butter melts into the beans and makes them creamy and rich. The cornbread comes out of the oven golden and hot, and you tear it into pieces to soak up the bean liquid. A can of pinto beans costs 69 cents. A box of cornbread mix costs 89 cents. This meal fed the rural South through every hard decade of the 20th century. Did your family eat pinto beans and cornbread growing up, or is this a Southern thing you never had? These 10 suppers show that eating well alone does not mean eating sad food. White bean toast, scrambled eggs with leftovers, quesadillas, chicken noodle soup, and pinto beans with cornbread all take under 15 minutes and cost under $3. You deserve hot, real meals every single night. The best tomato soup you will ever eat takes 12 minutes to make from scratch and tastes nothing like the stuff from a can. You warm a drizzle of olive oil in a small pot and add half an onion chopped into rough pieces. The onion cooks for 3 minutes until it gets soft and smells sweet. Then you add 1 can of crushed tomatoes, half a cup of water, a pinch of sugar to balance the acid, and salt and pepper. Everything simmers together for 8 minutes while you stir it once or twice. After 8 minutes, you use an immersion blender right in the pot to make it smooth, or you pour it into a regular blender if that is what you have. The whole pot of soup costs under $2 because canned tomatoes cost about $1 and half an onion costs almost nothing. This soup tastes like you spent an hour making it, but you only spent 12 minutes. You eat it with a piece of buttered toast on the side and feel like you actually cooked something real. The difference between this soup and canned soup is the difference between food that tastes like effort and food that tastes like convenience. The secret to perfect fried rice is using day-old rice that has been sitting in your refrigerator overnight, because freshly cooked rice is too wet and sticky. Cold rice from yesterday fries properly, with each grain staying separate instead of clumping together in the pan. You heat a little oil in a skillet and add the cold rice, pressing it flat so the bottom gets crispy. After 2 minutes, you push the rice to one side of the pan and crack an egg into the empty space. You scramble the egg quickly with your spatula and then mix it into the rice with a splash of soy sauce. Whatever vegetables you have, go in next. Frozen peas thaw in 60 seconds from the heat of the pan. Leftover cooked broccoli, corn from a can, or a handful of spinach all work perfectly. The whole meal takes 10 minutes and costs under $2. A senior who makes extra rice with dinner one night has fried rice waiting for them the next night without any extra effort. This is the meal that proves leftovers are not sad food, they are smart food. What vegetables do you add to your fried rice? Or do you keep it simple with just egg and soy sauce? Red lentils are the secret weapon for seniors who want hot soup fast because they cook in 12 minutes without any soaking or prep work. Green lentils and brown lentils take 45 minutes, but red lentils dissolve into thick, creamy soup in 15 minutes total. You warm a drizzle of oil in a small pot and add half an onion chopped roughly. After 3 minutes, you add 1 cup of red lentils, 2 cups of water or broth, a pinch of cumin, salt, and pepper. Everything simmers together for 12 minutes while you wash your cutting board and refill your water glass. By the time you sit down, the soup is done. The lentils break down completely and thicken the soup so it feels filling and substantial instead of watery. A bag of dried red lentils costs about $3. and makes enough soup for 8 meals. 1 cup of lentils costs 40 cents and makes a full bowl of soup with leftovers for tomorrow. Nutritionists call lentils a complete protein, which means they give you everything your body needs. Your grandmother just called them cheap and filling, which is also accurate. Comment your location and tell us, do you cook with lentils regularly or have you never tried them? The fastest hot soup a senior can make happens entirely in the microwave and takes 8 minutes from start to finish. You dice 1 medium potato into small cubes and put them in a microwave-safe bowl with enough water to cover them. Microwave on high for 5 minutes until the potato pieces are soft enough to pierce easily with a fork. Drain most of the water, but leave a little bit in the bowl. Add a splash of milk, a big handful of shredded cheddar cheese, salt, and pepper. Microwave for 2 more minutes until the cheese melts completely. Stir everything together and mash it slightly with a fork if you want it thicker, or leave the chunks if you prefer texture. 1 potato costs about 20 cents. The cheese is already in your refrigerator. The whole bowl of soup costs under $1 and uses exactly 1 bowl and 1 fork for cleanup. For a senior whose knees hurt too much to stand at the stove that evening, this 1-bowl soup is the difference between eating a real hot meal and eating crackers over the sink. The easiest restaurant-style soup you can make at home takes 5 minutes and costs under $2. You bring 2 cups of chicken broth to a rolling boil in a small pot. While the broth heats, you crack 2 eggs into a cup and beat them quickly with a fork. Once the broth is boiling hard, you pour the beaten eggs in a slow, thin stream, while stirring the broth in a circle with your other hand. The eggs cook instantly and form soft golden ribbons that float through the soup. You add a pinch of salt and white pepper if you have it, or regular black pepper if you do not. That is the entire recipe. 5 minutes from turning on the burner to sitting down with a bowl of soup. This is the meal that asks almost nothing from you and gives you something warm and comforting in return. When you are sick, it helps you feel better. When you are exhausted, it keeps you going. When you have no appetite but your body needs food, this soup is the answer. A carton of chicken broth costs under $2. 2 eggs cost under 50 cents. Comment below and tell us, have you ever made egg drop soup at home, or do you only order it from Chinese restaurants? These 5 soups prove that hot homemade meals do not require hours of simmering. Tomato soup from scratch, fried rice with an egg, red lentil soup, microwave potato cheese soup, and egg drop soup all take under 15 minutes and taste better than anything from a can. The simplest meat supper a senior can make takes 7 minutes and requires 0 seasoning, because kielbasa is already fully cooked and flavored at the factory. You do not add spices or herbs or complicated ingredients. You just slice the sausage into thick coins about ½ an inch wide and drop them into a completely dry skillet over medium-high heat. No oil needed, no butter, nothing. The kielbasa has enough fat inside to cook itself without sticking or burning. You leave the coins alone for 2 minutes on the first side until they turn dark brown and slightly crispy at the edges, where the sugar in the sausage caramelizes. Then you flip them with a fork and cook for 2 more minutes on the other side. That browning is everything because it makes the outside smoky and sweet while keeping the inside juicy. You eat the hot sausage coins with a piece of bread for soaking up the rendered fat, and yellow mustard for dipping each bite. Some people add sauerkraut from a jar in the refrigerator, which makes it taste even better and adds vegetables without extra work. A link of kielbasa costs about $2 and provides enough coins for a full plate with leftovers for tomorrow. Total time is 7 minutes. Total dishes are 1 pan and 1 plate. This is honest working food that Polish and German immigrants brought to America over a century ago. It fed factory workers coming home exhausted and it still works perfectly for seniors who need protein fast without standing at the stove for 20 minutes. Comment below, do you eat kielbasa regularly or only at special occasions? The most filling Southern supper costs under $2 and takes 12 minutes if you use boxed cornbread mix instead of making it from scratch. You open a can of black-eyed peas and pour half the can into a small pot with a spoonful of butter, a pinch of salt, and a very generous amount of hot sauce stirred in at the end. Not a polite dash of hot sauce that barely changes the color. Enough hot sauce to turn the liquid from beige to something more interesting and flavorful. While the peas heat on the stove, you mix cornbread batter from a box, according to the package directions, and pour it into a greased muffin tin or small baking dish. The cornbread bakes at 400 degrees for 12 minutes while you eat the peas straight from the pot with a spoon. The hot sauce makes the peas taste alive instead of bland and boring. The cornbread comes out golden and steaming, and you tear it into pieces to soak up every drop of the spicy bean liquid left in your bowl. A can of black-eyed peas costs 69 cents at most grocery stores. Cornbread mix costs under $1. This meal has fed the rural South for over 100 years because it is cheap, fast, and filling enough to keep you going through a long afternoon of farm work. In New Orleans, they say black-eyed peas bring luck when eaten on New Year's Day, but in Mississippi, they say black-eyed peas bring supper any day of the year, which is more immediately useful for people living on tight budgets. Comment on your state and tell us, do you eat black-eyed peas regularly or only on New Year's Day for tradition? The most satisfying vegetarian supper takes 10 minutes and costs under $2, despite what newspaper columnists said about avocado toast ruining young people financially a few years ago. You toast a thick slice of good bread until it is golden and crispy on the outside, but still soft in the middle. While the bread toasts, you bring a small pot of water to a gentle simmer and crack 1 egg into a small cup or bowl. You slide the egg carefully into the barely bubbling water and leave it alone for exactly 3 minutes without stirring or touching it. Meanwhile, you mash half a ripe avocado onto the hot toast with a fork and season it generously with salt and a good squeeze of lemon or lime juice to keep the avocado from turning brown. After 3 minutes, you scoop the poached egg out of the water with a slotted spoon, letting the water drain off completely, and lay it gently on top of the avocado toast. When you cut into the egg with your fork, the yolk runs down into the avocado and the bread and turns everything rich and creamy and restaurant quality. 1 avocado costs about $1 and makes 2 meals if you only use half at a time. 1 egg costs 20 cents. 1 slice of bread costs almost nothing. The whole plate costs under $2 and fills you up completely with healthy fats, protein, and fiber. This is not fancy brunch food for people with too much money. This is smart eating using simple ingredients that happen to taste incredible together. Comment below. Do you make avocado toast at home, or does it seem too trendy? The easiest no-cook protein supper takes 6 minutes and provides serious nutrition that doctors specifically recommend for seniors worried about bone health and heart health. You open a can of salmon, drain the liquid completely, and flake the fish into a bowl with a fork. The soft bones in canned salmon are completely edible and packed with calcium, which is important for preventing osteoporosis as you age. You mix the salmon with 1 spoonful of mayonnaise, a squeeze of lemon juice, salt, and pepper until everything is combined and spreadable. Then you serve it alongside a sleeve of crackers and half a cucumber sliced into thin rounds. You alternate between spreading salmon mixture on crackers and eating plain cucumber slices as a fresh break between bites. The cucumber adds crunch and coolness and keeps your mouth from getting too rich from the mayo. A can of salmon costs under $2 at most stores. The crackers are already sitting in your pantry from last week. One cucumber costs about $1 and lasts for 3 meals if you store the leftover half wrapped in the refrigerator. This meal requires 0 cooking and uses only 1 bowl, 1 fork, 1 knife, and 1 plate for cleanup afterward. For a senior who is too tired to stand at the stove, or who does not want to heat up the kitchen in summer, this no-cook supper is not a compromise or giving up. This is smart planning, using quality ingredients. Comment below, do you eat canned salmon, or does the idea of fish from a can seem unappealing to you? The traditional Italian version of this pasta and bean soup simmers for hours with pork rind and homemade broth and takes serious effort and attention. The 15-minute version tastes nearly as good and asks almost nothing from you except opening a few cans. You warm a drizzle of olive oil in a small pot over medium heat and add half an onion chopped roughly into chunks. After 3 minutes, when the onion softens, you add 1 can of white beans with all the liquid from the can, 1 cup of chicken broth from a box or can, a handful of small pasta like ditalini or broken spaghetti, salt, pepper, and a pinch of dried rosemary. Everything simmers together for 8 minutes until the pasta is cooked through and the beans have started to break down and thicken the broth naturally. Some of the beans stay whole and some dissolve completely, which makes the soup creamy and thick without adding any cream or butter. You finish it with a drizzle of good olive oil on top before eating. A can of white beans costs 69 cents. A handful of pasta costs almost nothing from whatever box is already open in your pantry. The whole pot costs under $3 and tastes like something a grandmother in Italy would approve of and serve to her family. This is peasant food in the best possible sense. Simple ingredients cooked quickly and eaten with good bread. For seniors eating alone, this makes 2 generous bowls, which means supper tonight and lunch tomorrow without any extra work. Comment below, have you ever made pasta e fagioli, or does it sound too complicated? These 10 suppers prove that real cooking does not require fancy skills or expensive ingredients. Kielbasa with mustard, black-eyed peas with cornbread, avocado toast with poached egg, canned salmon with crackers, and Italian pasta soup all take under 15 minutes and cost under $3 per meal. The most filling single-ingredient supper takes 10 minutes and costs 60 cents. You wash 1 medium sweet potato under cold water and poke it 6 times with a fork to let steam escape. Without those holes, the potato can explode in your microwave and create a mess. Put the potato on a microwave-safe plate and cook it on high for 6 minutes. After 6 minutes, flip it over and microwave for 4 more minutes. When it is done, the potato should feel soft when you squeeze it gently. Use a knife to cut it open lengthwise down the middle. Then press both ends to open it wide like a book. The inside will be bright orange, steaming hot, and soft enough to eat with just a spoon. Drop a generous tablespoon of butter into the opening and watch it melt into every part of the potato. Sprinkle cinnamon over the top. The cinnamon makes your kitchen smell like you have been baking all afternoon. Add a tiny pinch of salt, which sounds strange, but makes the sweetness taste even better. If you have honey, drizzle a little on top, but this is optional. The sweet potato is delicious, with just butter, cinnamon, and salt. 1 sweet potato costs about 60 cents. The butter, cinnamon, and honey you already own. This meal takes 10 minutes of microwave time while you sit and rest. The flesh of a properly cooked sweet potato is naturally creamy and dense enough to fill you completely. It does not need meat or cheese to feel like a real meal. You can eat it with a fork or spoon, and it requires almost no chewing, making it perfect for seniors with dental problems. Sweet potatoes are loaded with vitamin A for your eyes and immune system, fiber for digestion, and potassium for heart health. This 60-cent potato gives you more nutrition than most frozen dinners. You can make this every night for a week and never get tired of it because cinnamon and butter never stop tasting good. Comment below and tell us, do you eat sweet potatoes as a main meal or only as a side dish at holiday dinners? The fanciest sounding supper takes 12 minutes, costs under $2, and uses one pan. Shakshuka is a North African and Middle Eastern dish that has fed people for centuries. The name means a mixture in Arabic. Eggs poached in spiced tomato sauce. American brunch restaurants charge $16 for this and serve it with artisan bread, completely missing the point. Shakshuka is fast, cheap, and perfect for one person eating alone. Warm a small skillet with olive oil over medium heat. Pour half a can of crushed tomatoes into the pan. Add a pinch of cumin, paprika, salt, and pepper. If you like spicy food, add red pepper flakes. Stir everything and let it simmer for 5 minutes. The tomatoes thicken and the spices bloom. Your kitchen smells incredible. After 5 minutes, use a spoon to make 2 small wells in the sauce. Crack 1 egg into each well. Cover the skillet with a lid or foil. The steam cooks the egg tops while heat cooks the bottoms. Let it cook covered for 4 to 5 minutes. 4 minutes gives runny yolks. 5 minutes gives slightly firmer yolks. When done, the whites should be opaque and the yolks should jiggle. Eat it straight from the skillet with bread for scooping. Tear bread, drag it through sauce and yolk, eat it hot. One pan, one serving, no extra dishes except your fork and bread plate. Crushed tomatoes cost $1. 2 eggs cost 50 cents. Oil and spices you own. Total cost under $2, 12 minutes total. A food columnist in 1976 called this the laziest meal in America as an insult. He was wrong. Shakshuka is efficient, flavorful, filling, and exactly what a senior should make when they want something tasty without effort. The spices make it smell like you cooked all afternoon. The runny yolks feel indulgent. Single pan cleanup means you will make it again tomorrow. Tell us in the comments, have you made shakshuka at home, or is this your first time hearing about it? This meal feeds the world when the day has been too long and energy is gone. Not one country, every continent that grows rice has a version. In Japan, it is tamago kake gohan. In Korea, dozens of variations exist. In China, it is standard comfort food. In the Philippines, it is sinangag with itlog. Different names, same idea. Rice, egg, fat, salt. Cook 1 cup of white rice in a pot with 2 cups of water and salt. Put the lid on, boil it, then turn heat to low, and ignore it for 10 minutes. Do not lift the lid or stir. While rice cooks, bring a small pot of water to a rolling boil. Lower 1 egg into the water with a spoon. Set a timer for 7 minutes. 7 minutes gives you a fully cooked white and a soft, jammy yolk. 6 minutes is too runny. 8 minutes is too dry. 7 is perfect. When the timer rings, run the egg under cold water for 30 seconds to stop cooking. Peel it carefully. After 10 minutes, the rice is done. Scoop hot rice into a bowl. Add a tablespoon of butter on top immediately. The butter melts and coats every grain. Drizzle soy sauce over everything. Start with a little. Add more if needed. Place the peeled egg on top and cut it in half in the bowl. Golden yolk spills into butter and soy sauce, creating rich sauce coating every bite. Stir gently and eat while hot. If you have them, add sesame oil drops or dried seaweed flakes, but these are optional. The meal works perfectly with just rice, butter, egg, and soy sauce. 1 cup rice costs 15 cents. 1 egg costs 20 cents. Butter and soy sauce you own. Total cost under 50 cents. 12 minutes total. This is what you make at any age when the world asked more than you could give. It does not fix anything, but makes things manageable, which is all supper can do. This meal belongs to everyone too tired to cook complicated food. Comment below. Do you eat rice and egg regularly, or is this combination new to you? The most impressive 15-minute supper uses one boneless chicken thigh and turns it into a restaurant-quality meal with rice cooked in the same pan. This is called a one-pan meal. Genius for seniors who hate washing multiple dishes. Start with one boneless, skinless chicken thigh. Bone-in, skin-on tastes better, but boneless works fine. Season both sides generously with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Do not be shy with seasoning. Heat oil in a small skillet over medium-high heat. When oil shimmers, place the chicken in the pan. Do not touch it. Do not move it. Do not flip it. Leave it alone for 5 full minutes. This develops a crust. The bottom undergoes the Maillard reaction. Proteins and sugars meet high heat, creating deep golden brown crust that tastes savory and amazing. After 5 minutes, flip and cook 2 more minutes on the other side. The chicken is mostly cooked through now. Push the chicken to the pan edge. Add half a cup uncooked white rice directly to the same pan. The rice sizzles. Pour 3/4 cup chicken broth over the rice. It bubbles and steams dramatically. Put a lid on, turn heat to lowest setting. Walk away for 8 minutes. Do not lift the lid. Do not stir. Trust the process. After 8 minutes, turn off heat, but leave lid on 2 more minutes. This resting time lets rice finish steaming and absorb remaining liquid. When you lift the lid after 10 minutes total, rice has absorbed every drop of savory broth, and the chicken sits on top looking elegant. One chicken thigh costs $2. Half cup rice costs 10 cents. 3/4 cup broth costs 30 cents. Total under $3. One pan, 15 minutes. 0 extra dishes. This proves feeding yourself well has nothing to do with money or having someone to share meals with. It is about deciding you are worth making real food. And you are. Every night, you are worth it. Tell us below, do you cook chicken thighs or only chicken breasts? The simplest high-protein supper takes 3 minutes and requires 0 cooking. Open your refrigerator and take out cottage cheese. Scoop half a cup into a bowl. Full-fat cottage cheese tastes creamy and satisfying. Low-fat works but is not as good. Open a can of peaches packed in juice or light syrup. Heavy syrup is too sweet. Peaches in water have no flavor. Drain the liquid and put 3 or 4 peach slices on top of the cottage cheese. Put 1 slice of bread in the toaster. When it pops up, butter it immediately while hot so butter melts into the bread. That is your entire supper. Cottage cheese, canned peaches, buttered toast. 3 minutes, 0 cooking. Some people mix peaches into cottage cheese so every bite has both flavors. Others eat them separately, alternating spoonfuls of cottage cheese with bites of peach. Both methods work. Do whatever feels right. Cottage cheese gives you protein for maintaining muscle mass as you age, plus calcium for bones. Peaches add fruit sweetness, vitamin C, and fiber. Buttered toast gives carbohydrates for energy and makes it feel like a complete meal instead of a snack. A container of cottage cheese costs $3 and makes 6 servings. Each serving costs 50 cents. A can of peaches costs $2 with 4 servings, so each serving costs 50 cents. 1 piece buttered toast costs 20 cents. Total meal costs about $1.20. For seniors with limited appetite, digestive problems, or difficulty chewing, cottage cheese is one of the easiest proteins. It is soft, mild, requires no chewing, and does not sit heavy in your stomach like meat sometimes does. Peaches add natural sweetness, making it feel like a treat instead of diet food. This is not sad food or compromise food. This is smart, practical food, respecting that some nights, standing at a stove feels like climbing a mountain. Opening a can and scooping cottage cheese is exactly the right effort level. You are still feeding yourself real food, with protein, calcium, fruit, and carbohydrates. You are sitting at a table with a real bowl and spoon instead of eating crackers over the sink. Comment below, do you eat cottage cheese regularly, or does the texture bother you? These 5 suppers prove that satisfying meals come in many forms. Sweet potato with cinnamon, shakshuka with eggs in tomato sauce, rice with butter and soft-boiled egg, one-pan chicken and rice, and cottage cheese with peaches all take under 15 minutes and respect your energy level. The most elegant Italian pasta uses 5 ingredients and takes 14 minutes. This dish is called spaghetti aglio e olio, meaning spaghetti with garlic and oil in Italian. It has fed people in Italy for hundreds of years. In Rome and Naples, people make this at midnight when they want something tasty without effort. It is foundational Italian home cooking, yet most Americans never heard of it. Bring a pot of water to a rolling boil. Add generous salt. The water should taste like the ocean. This is important because pasta has no salt, so cooking water seasons it from inside. Add a single serving of spaghetti and cook 9 minutes, or package time -1 minute. While pasta cooks, make the sauce, which is really just flavored oil. Pour 3 tablespoons good olive oil into a small skillet over low heat. Low heat is essential because garlic burns easily, and burnt garlic tastes bitter. Take 2 garlic cloves and slice them paper thin. If slicing is hard for your hands, use a garlic press. Add sliced garlic to warm oil. It should sizzle gently. If sizzling loudly, heat is too high. Turn it down. Let garlic cook slowly about 3 minutes, stirring occasionally until light golden. Watch carefully the last minute because it goes from golden to burnt quickly. When garlic is golden and your kitchen smells incredible, turn off heat. If you like spicy food, add red pepper flakes to hot oil. Heat blooms the pepper flavor. If you do not like spicy, skip it. When pasta is done, do not drain in a colander. Use tongs to lift spaghetti directly from cooking water into the skillet with garlic oil. Let pasta water drip into the skillet. This starchy water is essential. Add 2 tablespoons pasta water to skillet and toss everything vigorously. Starch helps oil cling to every strand instead of pooling at the bottom. Toss for 1 minute until pasta is coated and glossy. Taste and add salt if needed. That is the recipe. Pasta, oil, garlic, pepper, salt, pasta water. 14 minutes, under $2. A box of spaghetti costs $1, making 8 servings, so 1 serving costs 12 cents. 3 tablespoons oil costs 30 cents. 2 garlic cloves cost 10 cents. Total under $2. Tastes like Italian culinary school. The key is not burning garlic and not skipping pasta water. Both steps are easy if you pay attention. For seniors eating alone wanting something special instead of sad and boring, this pasta proves simple food made with care can be perfect. Tell us, do you cook with fresh garlic regularly, or does chopping it feel like too much work? The most nutritious 15-minute supper sounds strange to Americans, but makes perfect sense once you taste it. Canned sardines packed in olive oil are one of the healthiest grocery store foods. They are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, reducing inflammation, supporting heart health, and keeping your brain functioning as you age. They contain calcium from soft edible bones. They provide vitamin D, which many seniors lack, especially those not spending time outside. They are full of protein. They cost about $1.50 per tin, making them one of the cheapest high-quality proteins available. Cook pasta in boiling salted water 9 minutes. While pasta cooks, open a tin of sardines in olive oil. Drain most oil but not all. Use a fork to break sardines into rough pieces in the tin or a bowl. Sardines are soft and break apart easily. In a small skillet, warm olive oil over low heat and add 1 garlic clove sliced thin or pressed. Let garlic cook gently 2 minutes until it smells amazing and turns light golden. Add broken sardine pieces to the pan with garlic and warm everything through another minute or 2. When pasta is done, Drain it and add directly to skillet with sardines and garlic. This is bold, assertive food with strong flavors some people love immediately and others need to try 2 or 3 times before appreciating. In Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Greece, sardine pasta is normal everyday food children grow up eating. In America, we decided sardines were weird and ignored one of the cheapest, healthiest, most sustainable proteins available. That was a mistake. Sardines are small fish, reproducing quickly, so eating them does not contribute to overfishing like tuna or salmon. They are wild-caught, not farmed. Processed simply, packed in oil with no weird additives. For seniors on fixed income wanting nutritious food without spending a fortune, canned sardines are one of the smartest purchases. Comment below honestly. Have you eaten sardines, or does the idea sound too strange to try? The fastest no-cook protein supper takes 2 minutes total. You do not turn on the stove or oven. You do not heat anything. You just assemble and eat. Open your refrigerator and take out sliced smoked turkey from the deli counter. Lay 2 turkey slices flat on a clean plate. The turkey should be real carved kind from the deli, not pressed lunch meat in vacuum-sealed packages, because texture and flavor are completely different. Real deli turkey tastes like actual roasted turkey breast. Processed kind tastes like salt and filler. Take 2 Swiss cheese slices and lay one on top of each turkey piece. Swiss works best because it has mild, slightly nutty flavor, pairing perfectly with smoked turkey and mustard. Cheddar is too sharp and overpowering. American cheese is too bland and plastic-tasting. Swiss is just right for this combination. Take yellow mustard or Dijon mustard and spread a thin line down the center of each turkey and cheese stack. Do not use too much, or the roll-up gets soggy and mustard overpowers everything else. Just a thin stripe down the middle is enough. Now roll each stack tightly like a burrito. Turkey is on the outside, wrapping everything together. Cheese and mustard hidden in the middle. That is your complete supper. 2 roll-ups eaten with your hands like a wrap. No bread needed, no cooking required, no dishes beyond the single plate. Some people add a pickle spear inside before rolling, adding crunch and vinegar tang. Others eat baby carrots or celery sticks on the side, for vegetables and extra crunch. Both additions are good, but not required for a complete meal. Roll-ups by themselves are enough protein and fat to count as real supper. A 1/4 pound of sliced smoked turkey costs $3 at most deli counters, providing enough meat for 4 roll-ups, meaning 2 complete meals. Each meal costs $1.50 for turkey. 2 cheese slices cost about 50 cents. Total supper cost is under $2. Mustard is already sitting in your refrigerator door and costs almost nothing per serving. This works equally well for lunch or supper. Takes 2 minutes total from refrigerator to eating. For seniors with arthritis who cannot grip a knife easily, roll-ups are one of the easiest ways to get protein without cutting or cooking anything. For seniors with limited energy who cannot stand at the stove for 15 minutes, roll-ups require no standing at all. You can sit at the kitchen table and assemble them right there. That matters more than people realize. Standing even 10 minutes might not sound like much, but for seniors with mobility issues, chronic pain, or balance problems, it is the difference between cooking and not cooking at all. Turkey provides lean protein without being dry or flavorless. Cheese adds calcium, fat, and rich flavor. Mustard gives tang and moisture so the roll-up does not taste boring or dry. This is not sad food. This is smart food, using quality ingredients in the simplest possible way. Tell us below in the comments, do you make deli meat roll-ups for quick meals, or do you always put meat on bread for proper sandwiches? The smartest shortcut supper uses a grocery store rotisserie chicken somebody else already cooked, seasoned, and kept warm for you under heat lamps. Every grocery store sells rotisserie chickens in heated display cases near the deli section or prepared foods area. A whole rotisserie chicken costs $6 or $7 and provides enough meat for 4 complete meals if you are eating alone. Each meal costs about $1.50 for chicken, actually cheaper than buying raw chicken and cooking it yourself when you factor in electricity or gas costs. For this particular meal, pull off 1 chicken thigh or 1 breast piece and put it on a plate. Use your hands or a fork to pull meat off the bones easily. Chicken is already fully cooked, already seasoned with salt and herbs and sometimes paprika or garlic, and still warm if you bought it within the last hour or two. If the chicken has cooled down completely, microwave it for 30 seconds to warm the meat back up. While dealing with the chicken, take a microwave-safe bowl and measure out 1 cup of frozen mixed vegetables straight from the bag. Put the bowl in the microwave and cook on high for 3 minutes until vegetables are steaming hot. When vegetables come out of the microwave, add a pat of butter and a pinch of salt. Stir everything together so butter melts into the vegetables and coats them. That is your complete supper. 5 minutes total from start to eating. 1 plate, 1 bowl, 1 fork to wash. Rotisserie chicken is already perfectly seasoned and cooked with crispy skin and juicy meat. Frozen vegetables cost about $2 for a bag, making 8 servings. 1 serving costs 25 cents. 1/4 of a rotisserie chicken costs $1.50. Total supper costs under $2, takes 5 minutes to assemble. This is not lazy cooking or giving up. This is smart cooking, using convenience products exactly the way they were meant to be used, making life easier without sacrificing nutrition or flavor or quality. Chicken gives you complete protein with all essential amino acids. Vegetables give you fiber and vitamins without any prep work. Together, they make a balanced plate tasting like real food, not like something microwaved from a frozen dinner box. For seniors who are exhausted from the day, recovering from illness or surgery, or just not wanting to cook that particular night, rotisserie chicken and frozen vegetables is exactly the right answer. There is no shame in using pre-cooked meat when it tastes this good and costs this little. Rotisserie chickens are seasoned better than most home cooks season their own chicken anyway. The heat lamps keep them moist. The rotating spit makes the skin crispy. You are getting restaurant-quality chicken for $7 total, making 4 meals. That is remarkable value and convenience combined. Comment below in the comments section, do you buy rotisserie chicken regularly for quick meals, or does using pre-cooked meat feel like cheating to you? The most comforting 15-minute supper tastes like Thanksgiving dinner, but takes almost no effort or skill. Make instant mashed potatoes according to the package directions, usually adding boiling water and a tablespoon of butter to potato flakes in a bowl and stirring until smooth and creamy. While the potatoes sit for a minute, warm half a can of brown gravy in a small pot on the stove over medium heat, stirring occasionally so it does not burn on the bottom. Heat half a cup of frozen peas in the microwave for 2 minutes until steaming hot. Scoop mashed potatoes onto a plate, making a small well in the center. Pour hot gravy over the top so it pools and spreads. Add peas on the side for color and vegetables. The whole meal takes 10 minutes and tastes like comfort food from childhood or holiday dinners. Instant mashed potatoes get criticized constantly by food snobs, saying they do not taste like real potatoes peeled and boiled from scratch, and those people miss the point entirely. Instant mashed potatoes taste like convenience and ease, and not having to peel and boil actual potatoes for 30 minutes when you are 80 years old and your hands hurt from arthritis. A box of instant potato flakes costs $3 and makes 10 servings. 1 serving costs 30 cents. Canned gravy costs $2 per can and makes 4 servings. 1 serving costs 50 cents. Frozen peas cost $2 per bag and make 8 servings. 1 serving costs 25 cents. Your entire plate costs about $1.05, takes 10 minutes from start to sitting down. This is the meal that tastes like someone made you a proper dinner, even when that someone had to be you cooking alone. Gravy makes everything rich and savory and restaurant quality. Peas add bright green color and a little freshness and sweetness. Mashed potatoes are warm and smooth and exactly what you wanted without even knowing you wanted it until you started eating. For seniors living alone and eating the same rotation of 5 meals every single week, instant mashed potatoes with gravy feels like a special treat even though it costs $1 and takes 10 minutes. The gravy transforms plain potatoes into something that tastes like a holiday meal your grandmother used to make. The peas add just enough vegetables that you feel like you fed yourself properly and responsibly. This meal asks almost nothing from you in terms of energy, skill, or money, and gives you something warm, filling, and genuinely comforting in return. There is no chopping, no peeling, no waiting for water to boil, no mashing by hand. Everything comes together fast and tastes like real food, not like punishment for being tired or alone. Tell us in the comments section below, do you make instant mashed potatoes for quick meals, or do you think they are not as good as the real thing made from scratch? These 30 cheap 15-minute suppers prove that feeding yourself well does not require hours of cooking, expensive ingredients, or complicated techniques. Every meal on this list costs under $3 per serving and takes less time than waiting for delivery or driving to a restaurant. Egg and toast soldiers, tomato soup with grilled cheese, pan-fried kielbasa, avocado toast with poached egg, and instant mashed potatoes with gravy are real meals that respect your time, your budget, and your energy levels. For seniors living alone and eating the same 5 things every single week out of habit or exhaustion, this list offers variety without adding difficulty. Some meals require no cooking at all, like turkey and Swiss roll-ups or canned salmon with crackers. Others use one pan and take 10 minutes, like fried rice or shakshuka. All of them treat you like someone who deserves to eat well even when cooking feels hard. The pantry staples sitting in your cupboard right now, canned beans, pasta, eggs, rice, frozen vegetables, are enough to make proper suppers without trips to the store or special ingredients. You do not need fancy skills or expensive equipment. You just need to know that simple food made quickly still counts as taking care of yourself. Which of these suppers will you make first this week?